Hello, my name is Duncan, and in this video I'd like to take you through the most commonly used features in my WorldBirds Android birding application. After you watch this video, if you're really excited and would like to download and install it and use it, there's a separate video describing the installation process. Now you can't download this app from the Google Store, nor is there a version for Apple users. The installation process does involve downloading files, unzipping them and copying them to your phone. It's a manual process that will take 10 to 20 minutes, and the installation video will take you through it step by step. So I'm sorry it is a bit manual, but it is worth it. There are now several birding applications available for smartphones. Merlin is a very common one. There are others that aid in identification of birds, and some are just field guides. This particular application focuses on recording the birds you have seen and assumes that you are already reasonably good at identification. What you want to do is you see a bird, you know what it is, and you want to log it. It is a complete checklist of all the birds in the world, and if you travel across countries, it's really good for keeping track of the bird species you've seen in different countries. It's completely free and open. There are no adverts, notifications, or logins required. Okay, let's get underway. Okay, this is the main screen. This is what you see when you first open the application or after you've just completed the installation. The country is first set to all, and that's a list of all the birds of the world. And as you can see at the top of the screen in the header, 11,194 species. Normally you will go ahead and select the country that you're currently working in. And for example, I'm going to select Australia because I have birded there, and all the sightings will provide some good examples for us. Now the header at the top now displays the number of species in the country, 924. It says I haven't seen any today, but I've seen 394 species in this country, plus 111 of the species on the Australia list I have seen in other countries of the world. Typically, though, they would be vagrants in Australia. If I expand the list using this icon on the right, the north, south, east, west one, you can see the green ticks means I've seen the bird. So I've seen southern cassowary and emu in Australia. The small orange tick that we have for the common ostrich and things like the Canada goose, they're the birds that I have seen in another country. I haven't seen an ostrich in Australia. I haven't seen a Canada goose in Australia, which they're vagrants there. As you scan down the list, the blue text, like the Cape Barren goose, that means the bird is an endemic in Australia, and the mauve or purple text are for vagrants. When you log a bird, and I will be demonstrating this shortly, a little orange dot appears next to the tick, which shows that you've seen the bird today. Now you can navigate to birds by going through the tree. For example, you can go to waders, gulls and terns, and select a gull-billed tern, like so. Alternatively, the quickest way often to search for a bird in the list is to start typing it in the search box, such as gull. And you can see there, gull-billed tern. Click on the find icon and you're straight there to gull-billed tern. That then allows you to open it up and have a look at it. Note that if you search for a bird by an alternative name, for example, the kelp gull is known in some places as a southern black-backed gull. If you search for that and click on search, it will open the bird up straight away because it's the name. It's known as the kelp gull in the IOC bird list, but it's if you search for it, you won't actually see the name southern black-backed gull in the main list. You'll see kelp gull instead, so that's why it opens it up. Okay, now let's display the bird details screen in a bit more detail. Now we've got the kelp gull open. Notice that I've got another window open on the side. When you click on these buttons, it will open the web browser. Now I can't on the phone. It will open in your screen. The way the emulator works here, it displays it in another window, which is the window alongside here. I'll show that in a minute. So for the kelp gull, along with the icon we have for the bird, We've got the taxonomy, its name, Latin name, alternative names, order, family, etc., and status information. Um, some description down the bottom as well with very basic description about the bird. If you want more information about the bird, these 6 buttons here are absolutely key. If we click on Birds of the World, this is a shortcut to the Birds of the World web application where there is lots more information about the bird. You've got a similar thing with eBird. It will open the eBird website. This is all provided you have an internet connection, of course. Zenocanto, it will open the web browser for that bird with all the bird calls you could possibly want for the species. Wikipedia opens the Wikipedia page for the bird. Avibase, same thing again. And the last button here is there's about 400 or 500 species New Zealand birds online. It will open there, or for the other ones, DI bird is used. So if you've got an internet connection, these shortcut buttons give you access to virtually all the ID information you could possibly want. There's no point in me having it in the application. You've got them all online on the web. Range information is provided at the bottom. That's directly from the IOC site. The country list button, if you click on that, that will shows you all the countries in the world where the kelp gull is found, with the status vagrant, common, etc. That can be a useful reference sometimes. Before leaving the screen, just note underneath the kelp gull here, you've got the um, family name, Laridae, and the index number 1172,000. So if you ever want to add photos or calls for the bird, now going through the folder structure, the Laridae, it gives you the top level folder structure, and then the 117200 is the index to the bird species itself. Now, if you swipe from right to left, the next screen you get to is the logging screen, or you can just click on the tabs at the top. I'll come back to this, but if you carry on through here, photos, one or more photos of the bird here. If you click on the picture itself, it will open a small image viewer from which you can zoom in or out. I can't really demonstrate that because you need 2 fingers, and I can't really do that in the emulator, but you'll find it's very easy to do on the phone. And if you turn your phone landscape or portrait, it'll go around. This is if you have a good photo and you want to zoom in on it closely. Same for calls. Swipe across to for the calls, for one or more calls, and if you click on the play button, just make sure the volume's up and you can listen to calls. We don't have many loaded. I've got about 1,600 loaded so far, mainly come from Zenocanto, and of course you can always go to Zenocanto if you have an internet connection to get any call you could possibly want. Again, last one is the subspecies. Now, there is a full list of 19,000 odd subspecies from the IOC list of loaded. Use of this is optional. The subspecies that you've seen, and you can see here, I have seen the Betula and the Dominicanus subspecies. It's completely optional whether you want to log them or not. I'll show them in the logging screen whether you want to do it. I tend to only do it for certain species. I don't do it for all of them, but it's purely up to you whether you want to use it or not. You also will note at the top of the screen, there are buttons to go to the previous bird and the next bird. So if I click on previous bird, black-tailed gull, and you can go back Pacific gull, etc. Sometimes it's useful to be able to do this if you've got if you're not sure exactly which species you've seen and you want to compare 2 or 3 of them. It's easier doing this than going back to the main list each time. Right, let's start logging our sightings. Let's create a new log for the kelp gull. When you click on the new log button, you'll see that the fields that you can enter data for are highlighted. Typically, you need to enter the number of birds you've seen. Let's say we've seen 2 of them, and I will give it a test location so I can delete them later. Notes are optional. Occasionally I stick some notes in here. You set the GPS by clicking on the Set GPS button. Now the GPS, it's made up of the cell phone location, Wi-Fi, and GPS locations on the phone. Phone does a pretty good job of triangulating from all of these to give you the most accurate location. And you can see that here I've got accuracy plus or minus 12.9 meters. It does pay to click the button a couple of times, just to make sure that it's had time to get the best location it can. It refreshes every 3 to 5 seconds. It does vary a little bit depending on where you are and how good a view you have of the sky, but that's giving a pretty good indication. Um, if you click on the map button will show you where you are, which is also helps to confirm that you are in the right place. The date and time are automatically filled in here, but you can always change those if you wish to. Same, the country as well. You can change the country and you can change the species. When you're logging a new species, you won't usually do this, but if you are editing a previous sighting in the future, it's being useful to be able to do that. Sometimes you get the species wrong first time and you need to go back and change it. The subspecies here is optional. If you know what it is, you can enter it, include it. Having done that, you can now go ahead and click on the Save button. You'll see the entry is now entered, entered in the list box below, test place. You can always click on the map again to confirm where you saw it. And you can, if you want to, you can go ahead and edit the details, or you can go ahead and delete. Note, if you click on the delete button, the delete has to be clicked again to confirm you actually want to delete it. It's a two-step process just to make sure. The reason I want to, I'm going to keep a couple of these in here is so you can see when you go back to the details screen, you see now there's a little orange dot. And if we go back to the main list, you'll see now we've got the dot. So you saw the orange dots, meaning are the birds you have seen today. I want to just log a couple of others. Let's do also the silver gull. We create a new log here. Note that it remembers the test place, the last location, and the GPS location coordinates are also remembered, so you just need to go ahead and log number of birds you've seen, save, and go back and let's do a lesser crested tern as well. Log that, same thing. Saw 5 of those, save. Back in the list here, we've got the 3 birds logged. If you now go, you'll see the little on the top on the menu bar, the golden bell is now lit, ringing, because it means you have unsaved records. But if we go to the sightings log, you will see here that for today, those 3 birds are listed. This is always the default. When you go into the screen, you can see the birds that you have seen today. Well, that we're out to the sighting screen, let's spend a little bit more time here. You've been logging birds all day. When you go to the screen, this shows you straight away what you've seen. That's the default. Now, the 4 checkboxes at the top provide you a huge amount of flexibility. Today, by the way, is defined as the 24 hours from midnight to midnight. So if you want to see what birds you've seen on another day, you can unclick that button. And in this case, we just got Australia selected. If you do a requery now, those are all the sightings for all the birds that I've seen in Australia. 2,870 records and 394 species. You can see the 3 I've just loaded up at the top for today, the previous ones back in 23. If you choose another date, let's go ahead and grab the Coolamunda Dam. This is a date and do a requery. Now on this date, I birded in several locations. If you want to see which bird you got on one of these locations, if you click on these are the 4 locations that I was at on that particular day. So at Coolamunda Dam, those were the birds that I saw. At Mosquito Creek Road, these were the birds that I saw. All the same date, they're just for the different locations. You can take the date off. These are all completely independent. So now let's go for a location as I know that I've done a bit of birding at Sydney Olympic Park. You do a requery there, and you can see these are all the birds that I've seen, 54 species, 116 records, but over, we've got a 2016 date there, 15 dates, and a date in 2012. So these are all the birds you've seen at a particular location in the country. And you can go ahead as well if you want to select a particular species. You can see what get a list of all the species you've seen on a particular country, and you can change country. I mean, it's quite a lot of flexibility in here. You can also edit previous sightings from here. So if we select any particular one here and click on the edit button at the bottom, we're taken to a edit screen, fairly similar to the other one. The pinkish background fields are the ones that you can edit, and you can change the date, time, you can change the country if and you can also change the species if you've got the species wrong and the subspecies. The only thing you can't do here, you can clear the GPS. If you set the GPS setting here, that will set the GPS setting to your current location. So there's no easy way actually of updating a GPS location in another country, but you can certainly clear it if you've got it wrong. Right, the next one we'll explore is the statistics screen. So we'll select this from the menu, and this is a different view. This is particularly good if you want to plan countries you'd like to go and visit. Give some statistics at the top, the current IOC listing that it's based on with the 44 orders, 253 families, 11,194 species and the 19,802 subspecies. Now, all of these absolutely identical we have in this birding checklist. It shows that I've seen 224 species from 186 families in 19 countries. Now, the buttons at the top here that allow you to, the country button orders the list in country alphabetical order. The species one, if you click on that, this reorders the list based in descending order. So you can see here that Colombia is a really good place to go if you want to see lots of bird species. If you click on endemics, the list is reordered according to the number of endemics in the country, and you can see that Indonesia is a great place to go. Or if you click on my total, you can see that those are the birding places that I birded in. You can see that I did pretty well in South Africa, and it's a good place to go to. So you can select any country that you want in here. So if we select Australia, which I've been to, it gives you a little bit more details at the bottom about the total number of species, endemics and vagrants in the country, and the numbers that you've seen, the number of species, endemics and vagrants. For some of the countries as well, you've got ability to map. So looking at some of these more obscure places, where might Burkina Faso, I'm not sure where it is. You click on map, and the map will show you where Burkina Faso is in Africa, just above Ghana. So it's quite useful, some of these more obscure countries or islands, if you're unsure what the place is. Next, let's have a look at the life list. The life list, you can select the country at the top. It defaults to your currently selected country. This gives a list of the birds that you have seen in the country. So it's fairly similar, the tree list is fairly similar to the main tree list, but it's just those birds that you have seen. So if you select a different country like Azerbaijan, you can see the list is blank because I haven't seen any birds there. But go back to Australia. In Australia, it shows these are the 394 species that I have seen out of the total in the country and the number of sighting records. If you expand the list, it's all in taxonomic order, but you can see again the blue ones highlight the endemics and the mauve ones highlight the vagrants. For each of these ones here, where did I see Australian swiftlets? Well, these are the dates, times, locations that I saw the Australian swiftlet. What's quite useful here is you up on the menu, endemics. If you click on endemics, that gives you a list of all the endemic species for the country. Australia's got quite a few, and the ones in blue are the ones that I've seen. You can do the same thing for vagrants. Click on vagrants, a list of all the vagrants from the country. There's only one vagrant I have seen in Australia. The other thing you can do from here is you can export the list. If you click on Save List, it'll go to a file in the Output folder in the WorldBirds folder directory. That list is one you can then save, print out, edit, load it into Excel, and do things for any purposes you want to. So this is a listing of the birds that you have seen in that particular country. And of course, if you select country all at the top here, you can get that's effectively your full life list. You can save um, then a full life list if you want for your own purposes. Okay, going to the lesser used utilities here. There's one on the menu called Where Am I? Where Am I is a simple mapping function. It shows you where you currently are, and you can have a Google map that you can move around from. You can set a current location, which will be the big red marker, and the blue marker is where you currently are. So if you want to go off wandering off track into the bush, you've got a way of hopefully finding your way back, as long as you have GPS location working. Now, a reminder here about saving your sighting logs. You'll see the little golden bell is displayed up on the menu here. This reminds you that you've got unsaved sightings. If you click on this button, which is good every so often, and click on yes, it will go ahead, save the sightings, and disappear. It is a good idea to back up the MyLogs file off your phone every so often. If you ever have a disaster with your phone, I've got friends who go off wading through neck-deep water looking for crakes and bitterns and things. If you forget you've got your phone in your pocket and you destroy your phone and you want to restore it, it's very easy to restore the application. If you want to be back to exactly where you were before, all you need is your sightings log file, the mysightings.txt file that sits in the mylogs folder. As long as you restore that, reload that, you'll be back to exactly where you were before with all your sighting logs all intact. Okay, well, that's really all I wanted to cover here. Um, the load and save and about items on the menu here are covered in another tutorial, and the update checklists one we will cover in the more advanced features video. If you haven't downloaded and installed and used the application yet, I hope this encourages you to do so. If you are going to do so, read the documentation, and you've got the installation video to help you with the installation. So, thanks for watching this, and happy birding.